Oh, welcome to July's income report, where we are going over how I made $53,825 this past month. I want to say, if you're watching the video version of this episode, you're going to see my background, which is a little bit crazy because I just moved into my new co-working space in downtown Fort Worth, which I'll be talking about in a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't look very pretty, and the lighting is terrible because my ring light has not come in yet. So I apologize for the background. But if you are watching this right now and your goal is to create consistent income so that you can live that comfortable lifestyle without working all those crazy freaking hours, go to this link, scalabilitylounge.com/grow. There's a free gift also, so once you sign up for that class where we go over how to create consistent income without working crazy hours, then we will be giving you a free gift that goes along with the class that's super duper helpful, so you can fill that in while you're watching the class. So yeah, if you're wanting to create consistent income, make sure to go watch that free training. That is something that I specifically built for you. So there is that. Now I want to go ahead and let's just go ahead and dive in together through the milestones. I'm gonna put my browser, that way I can see all these milestones. Okay, awesome, here we go. I have 4 milestones this month, and what our income report milestones are, it's like different milestones that have happened in this past month of business that you can learn from and avoid at all costs if it's a mistake. Because let me tell you, we make a lot of mistakes over here at HBHQ and Scalability. But it's fun. Mistakes can be fun. Mistakes are learning experiences. But what I want to do is I want to let you in on the mistakes that I've made in business and life so that you can kind of see, I'm not perfect. This is how we're running our business. And this is how I make decisions based off of the mistakes and failures that we've made this past month. So you can see how we kind of pivot all of that. Okay, so milestone number 1 is resistance to being a CEO. This is something that literally came up last week, which is so freaking interesting. I have weekly calls with one of my friends, Courtney. And Courtney's, if you know Courtney. Oh, and I want to also mention, by the way, there might be some background noise for this podcast, and if there is, I'm sorry. I did not go into one of the booths, so if there's background noise, just avoid it. This is just pretend like we're at a coffee shop with background noise behind us. Okay, so milestone number 1, resistance to being a CEO. What I realized was that I had built this amazing business, which was a great problem, right? I had built this amazing business. My team was working on autopilot. We have such a great culture. Everything was great. We were growing our business on autopilot, basically. We're a color-coded machine. And me, being new to business, this business is still a baby. We're a year and a half old. I didn't really know what my role as a CEO looked like every day. And so I just, instead of micromanaging, because I don't actually tend to micromanage people, my other response is just avoiding it. So what I did was I went the other way, where I just stopped working and I wasn't involved and I wasn't doing really anything because I didn't have to. But what that was doing was I didn't have that energy in my business. And so what ended up happening was it triggered me to start watching a lot of Netflix and sitting on the couch and not having any structure in my day, only wearing my PJs to work, all these things that weren't really helping me grow the business. I was just attending meetings and that was it. And talking on Instagram and stuff. But even that I was falling short because I didn't have momentum. And so when I got on this call, Courtney said, Haley, you're being resistant to being a CEO in your business. You need to really define what this role is and how your day looks like. And that was a huge wake up call for me. So now what I'm doing, now that I've noticed that this month, I am crafting what the CEO role looks like in my business. And this is what the core of my CEO role consists of. I delegate based on data. That's my role of the company. I delegate based on data. And it is my job as a CEO to decide what to delegate and what's going to move the company forward. So that means that right now I am networking. I am just connecting with my audience. I am make sure I'm getting visible, and all of the marketing, all of the sales, all of the operations part of my business, I'm just simply delegating projects based on the data that I'm reviewing every month. That's what my job consists of. And it was a big wake up call for me to realize, because I'm not used to that. I'm so used to like making decisions in the trenches, like growing this company. We didn't pre-plan things. Like we just grew super duper quick. We had one funnel and we got really creative on how to get leads in the funnel. Like that was how we grew to $500,000 our first year. So I'm having to shift the entire way I'm actually running the company, especially now that we have employees, which is something that I didn't put as a milestone in my notes, but I do want to mention that. So we have Ashley and Shelly. They're our main gals behind the scenes. And if you have bought either the Scalability Lounge or Recurring Profit, you know who Ashley and Shelly are. So Ashley, we put her on salary this month, which was super exciting. And we're about to put Shelly on salary as well. So we're making all of our main gals behind the scenes employees of the company. No, they're no longer contractors. There are a few reasons why I did this. The main reason was because I just love them so much. And I want to make sure that first of all, that they're not having to pay their own taxes. And it's just like an nice, second of all, healthcare, it's easier. Ashley, if you are in the, well, I don't know if I should say that. Never mind. Anyways, we needed healthcare reasons for like different reasons behind the scenes. So we had healthcare benefits and all these different things that are happening. And it was just a lot easier to have them as employees and getting those benefits, and also making sure that you secure your people. Now, most of you right now are not at the point where you do need to be hiring employees. You do need to be hiring low budget contractors to complete projects. And if you do this, make sure to hire based on solutions that you have already created. So for instance, don't hire someone to solve your problem. You need to solve the problem and then hire them for the solution that you have created. You need to create systems around that solution. So for instance, let's say that you're hiring someone for Instagram management, but you don't know how to run an Instagram account. In my opinion, if you want Instagram to be like a main tool in your business, you need to be creating a solution and creating systems around that solution, and then hiring someone to implement the solutions you created around the problem that you had with Instagram. So anyways, that was like a little hiring tip. Now I'll move on to milestone number 2. So milestone number 2 is the retreat. Now, this kind of ties into milestone number 1, because what I was found that when I was being resistant to being a CEO, I was in Slack a lot, and I was just trying to solve fires as they came up through the middle of the day. Because if you have a business, there are fires, right? Fires to be put out. And so I ended up having anxiety around opening up Slack, because I knew I had to solve a problem every time I opened up Slack. And so what I did was I started setting boundaries. So I no longer am in Slack throughout the day. I only respond to Ashley in Slack, and that's only if I have my Slack up. Ashley and I have a meeting every day where we go over everything, and I make decisions in that meeting. That's when I make all the decisions for the company, and that's at 9 a.m. every morning, every day. That's when I make all the main decisions that pivot our company every day. So that boundary that I made with my business provided me so much space that I was actually able to create the content that I'll be teaching at the retreat, which was massive because, the scalability, as you guys know, the scalability retreat is coming up and it's going to be at Waco, Texas on October 14th to 16th. And we are about to start having our $200 ticket off promotion thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this needs to happen soon. I don't know what I'm going to be teaching. They want to know sales, but I need to create this content. And because I set that boundary in my business, I had so much space that I was able to create the ISF sales system, which is a repeatable method rooted out of sales psychology and persuasion language. It's so freaking cool. So I was finally able to create that content. I was so excited. It was such a light bulb moment. And that only happened because I created space within my business and I set those boundaries. So right now, think about what boundaries do you need to be setting with your business? Because I had quite a few boundaries that I needed to set with my team and my business. And now I am thriving. So Slack was a big boundary that I needed to set. And also I want to say that if you are interested in the ISF sales method, we are selling that virtually and by in-person tickets. We're keeping the in-person event really small because I want this to be intimate and I want to really get to know you and your business when you come. So if you are at all interested in coming to the retreat in Waco on October 14th to 16th, or if you are wanting a virtual ticket to the retreat so you can actually stream the event live, then just make sure to DM me on Instagram. My DM is at Haley Burkhead. Just make sure to DM me over there and we can chat about it and I can just give you some links. That's the easiest way. So yeah, just DM me. Okay, cool. Milestone number 3, our product suite. Okay, here is a big one. And I want you to know, I tell you guys all the time, make sure to stick with one product and scale it and make sure it's all wrapped up before you start a new product. But here's the thing, I wasn't listening to my advice, and I had this vision for creating our 3rd product, which is going to be a team program, because I've been asked so much to create a team program, and man, my team was so excited about creating it. Like, it was awesome. And we were going to create it this fall. Well, we just wrapped up Scalability Lounge, wrapped it up in a bow. It is like a machine over there. It's amazing. So we literally pour all of our energy into serving our people instead of building things, growing things, tweaking things. It's like the best, right? So we have Scalability Lounge, great. Then we created recurring profit this summer. And now we're growing recurring profit, which is, if you guys don't know what that is, it's kind of a behind the scenes program. I do not talk about it a lot, but that's a program specifically for people that want to scale their course or membership site to over $10,000 a month using an evergreen webinar funnel. So that's what that program's about. And if you want to hear more about that program, just DM me on Instagram. That's the place to be. Like, if you ever want to know any information, just DM me on Instagram. That way I can actually chat with you and see where your business is at, and to see if you're ready or like what all that's going to look like. Okay, so we had those 2 programs, right? And then we were going to create our team program, and we're going to do the beta of that this fall. But what I realized was too many projects this year. And so I had to pull back, and I said, you know what, we're not even going to create this team program until next spring or summer. And like, I postponed that project for 6 months because I knew we were actually going to impact less people by creating more things in our product suite. So I had to get super strategic, which, let me tell you, it was really hard. And I know a lot of you struggle with the same thing because we're entrepreneurs, right? This is like our DNA, is like wanting to create things all the time. But I found that I was creating things to avoid growing something in my business. And every time you create something in your business, create something new, you are postponing growing something else. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. And so I would have actually postponed growing recurring profit, which I definitely don't want to do, because I get messages like every week on, wow, this program has changed my life. It's not only changed the way I make money, but it's changed the way I think and the way I act as an entrepreneur. It's like, yes, like, I know I need to grow this program. And so I don't need to postpone growing that to create something else, and help those types of people. So anyways, that was a big thing that I learned this month, is don't create something new when you need to make sure to completely automate the growth of another product so you can impact way more people. Okay, milestone number 4 is the Scalability Show. I should have done a drum roll before I just said that, so I'm going to back up and do one. Introducing the Scalability Show. Yes, we are going to be having a new podcast. If you are listening to this on iTunes right now, you're probably like, I'm listening to this on the CEO Vibes podcast. Where is the CEO Vibes podcast going to go? Well, let me tell you, it is not getting deleted from the internet. It is just simply staying on the internet and nothing new will be added to it. That's where the CEO Vibes podcast will be. Now, because this is what I realized, guys. I preach so hard against shiny object syndrome. Like, shiny object syndrome is something that I want to crush in the ground and hope that it never sprouts up in this entrepreneur space again. But my podcast was a breeding ground for shiny object syndrome. I was bringing on these people that were telling you all these new strategies, and it was distracting you. Like, I felt like my podcast was becoming a distraction in your business. And so what I decided to do was, I was like, you know what? We're going to start from scratch again. We're going to create the Scalability Show. And what that's going to help you do is it's going to give you very unique, high-level strategies to rescue yourself from survival mode in your business. It's going to show you how to create a simple automated business. So the scalability factor is obviously, hi Tasneem. So the scalability factor is obviously what's going to create that simple automated, right? But And obviously I cannot teach that in this show. So what I'll be doing is I'll be taking like, I'm trying to think. So for instance, one of the topics we get taught a lot about in our industry is create consistent content, which creates consistent income, right? So we get taught that a lot. We get told that like all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a podcast that's going to show you how to actually run your business in a way that doesn't require you to create consistent content. And then another episode topic will be how to have an opt-in free way of selling. So how to sell your stuff without having to have a free opt-in to sell it. Right? So those are the kind of topics that I'll be talking about, because I think that I never want to produce content that is distracting you from growing your business, because you know me, like I want to be that crazy, embarrassing cheerleader in the stands cheering you on with like really colorful pom-poms. Like that's my goal in my business to your business. And I can't do that if I'm putting up all these different marketing topics on a podcast that aren't actually helping you grow. They're just distracting you. And so that's why we're creating a different podcast. And that's what the decision making was looking behind that. You're probably thinking, when is this podcast launching? That is such a fantastic question that I do not have the answer to. But it will be released this fall, and our goal is to get 400 to 500 reviews in the first 7 days of launching. So I will be needing your help, a lot of your help. I will need to hear like your cheerleader mantra over there. Like I really need your help. So make sure that if you are not following me on Instagram, you have followed me on Instagram so you can get that update, and you guys can help me blow this podcast up, because this mission is not just my mission. That's what I love so much about the mission of my company, which is to rescue entrepreneurs from survival mode, is it's not just my mission, it's your mission as well. Like you're helping me and I'm helping you. And like this is a movement that I'm a part of and you're a part of. And we're part of this movement that's really impacting this industry, this space online. And I'm very excited that we get to do this together. And I think that this show is going to be really powerful for all entrepreneurs. So I'm really excited for you to help me and us to get this moving and grooving, rocking and rolling. Okay, now let's go through my numbers. Let's go through the number portion of this. I made $53,825 this past month, and $20,098 of that came from recurring profit. We had $1,900 in one-on-one calls, profit accelerator calls, and then Scalability Lounge, we made $30,327 a month, and then we made $1,500 from Kajabi this month. I also want to mention I did get a Tesla X this month as well, which was great because I had a company pay for that for me, which was Kajabi. So Kajabi paid for me to get a Tesla X. So I have to pay like $50 a month or something, like extras. Like that's how much I ended up having to pay for the car itself, which was great. Besides insurance and the charging station, but I did get that new car from all of the affiliate money, and I get a bonus check to cover the expense of the Tesla. So that is something that happened this month as well. And I was super duper excited about that because, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. I always grew up and like, you don't get new vehicles. Like you not that you don't get new vehicles, but like you don't put your money towards things that aren't necessary. Maybe that's it. Like we all get taught that. Like we're all in this mode of like, don't put your money towards something that's not necessary. You're in survival mode, right? Like you have to get the clearance items. You have to make sure you're getting a good deal all the time. It's like, what if you just enjoy it? And what if you have enough money and you're just being smart with you're smart with your money, but you also want to spend it? And so that's been something that I've been trying to shift is my money mindset around that lately, which has been really tough, but something that I'm constantly working on. Anyways, got a free Tesla this month, which is amazing. I'll be sharing more about that on Instagram stories. Tasneem says, also the fact that you change things so drastically so often helps me get over that analysis paralysis, because I think to myself, oh, I can just change it later if it need to be. Tasneem, I'm so glad you mentioned this, because a big part of growing fast as an entrepreneur is not putting pressure on your decisions. If you are taking too long to make a decision, it is because you are avoiding failure. Not kidding. And that is no way to grow a business, right? So instead of taking so long to make all these really important decisions for our business, like let's just make them super fast and realize that we can pivot just as fast as we made that decision in the first place. Like don't put pressure on decision making. Let's just like get the ball rolling, right? And then that momentum will carry us so much farther in business. So that's what I really want us to start thinking about. And also I want to bring up, so let me pull up my phone real quick because I had a conversation. So I was on, this will be the end of the income report after I mention this, but I just think this was so important. I wanted to bring this up to you guys right now. So when I was on Instagram stories, I was actually at Trader Joe's the other day. And I was driving home from Trader Joe's and I was like, I am so thankful. Like I was like crying in my car. I was like so thankful for my life because I said on Instagram stories, it's like, you know, those people that they talk about their story and how their business changed their life. And like now they get the free car, they get the, like, they just like get whatever they want, right? Like all those things. Like you hear those stories all the time, especially on Facebook ads. Well, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I am that person now. And then because I am that person, now what I'm doing is I'm like, what just happened? Like last year I had a 9-to-5 job and now I'm doing this. Like how crazy. And anyways, I brought this up on Instagram stories and it's like in 14 months, we created 60,000 plus months. I got a free Tesla X. I got I'm trying to think of what else. Rented a downtown forward space. I retired my husband in 1 year. I quit my job. I did all these things, right? Like I did all these things in 14-month time frame. It's insane to think about looking back. And it brought up a lot of great conversations on Instagram around the fear and shame you guys have around growing your business. And I thought this was really good to bring up. It's like, so many people do have this fear and shame around growth. And anyways, someone DM'd me and said, I'm just afraid. And they said they're afraid of da-da-da-da. And this is what I responded to them. And I want you to really soak this in, especially if you're listening right now. Okay. I said, fear is a great reason to avoid growth because you have control over that emotion. Fear is rooted out of a thought that you are telling yourself in your mind. Dig deep. What are the thoughts that are causing you to be afraid? Because in my mind, I'm thinking this. Wow, I can't believe I get to do this. Oh my goodness, I'm creating such an amazing product. This is going to be amazing. I'm doing the work that I would build off of for years to come. I'm full of gratitude that I have the ability for this webinar to change my entire life and the life of others. This is going to be so much fun. I don't want to put pressure on it. Those above are all thoughts, not facts. Thoughts, and thoughts are 100% controllable. So if you have a situation, that's what I DM'd her back. So if you have a situation in your business that you're thinking, oh, I'm just so afraid of blah, 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 whatever that is, like launching my course or pitching my service to someone, right? Like whatever you're afraid of, why? What are the thoughts that come to your mind? Is it, I'm not good enough? Is it, God, I don't think I can do this. I'm not talented enough. Or who am I? Like imposter syndrome, right? Like all these things. Are those the thoughts that are coming to your mind? Because if they are, one, that's 100% controllable. That is not a fact. That is a thought. That is a belief that you can change. Two, is that thought helping you grow your business? Probably not, right? Probably not helping you grow your business. And so that means that we need to change that. And you have 100% control. I actually posted on Instagram, because this was like last year, I think, but I posted something on Instagram stories that said, if you don't have money, that is something that you have 100% control over. And I got a lot of like really good feedback and a lot of negative feedback on that because they said, what if this? What if this? And they put all these excuses in my DMs. I'm like, why? Why would you make an excuse over why you are not achieving the success that you want and you dream of? Why don't you find that statement empowering? Because you got the control now. You get the control. Why would you ever give your control to an outside circumstance that you don't have control over? Right? Why would you ever do that? Why would you not want to find that empowering? Like, I do have 100% control over how much income I'm making, how successful I am, because you do have that control. You really do. And I want you to really like soak that in right now and just like fully empower that. fully empower that decision making. I think a lot of us make excuses and try to say, oh, well, I'm not successful because my email list is not big enough, right? Now you're giving control over your success to something like an email list. Like, I'm sorry, but you don't have to have an email list to even grow, right? Like that's a belief. Like, so it's all these things that we tend to think about, and these thoughts are really holding us back from growing our business. Okay, that took a little bit of a different turn, but I hope this episode was super helpful for you guys. And I'm really excited that we do get to go through this every single month. And I hope this was helpful to see how I made $53,825 this month. We, as you can tell, like last month, we did make $10,000 more. We took a lot of time away from the growing our business, and we worked on a lot of systems this month. We worked on a lot of team culture this month, a lot of self-development as a team, as a group of people this month, which has been really awesome. And then next month, this month that I'm recording this episode in August, we're hitting the ground running. We're really ramping up our marketing. We're doing a really good foundation for our marketing. We hired a new Facebook ads person. So we're about to start shifting our focus to growing. So now we're building the foundation for our marketing department and ready to rock and roll in 2 weeks. So you might not be able to see a jump in numbers in August, but in September, you will definitely be able to see a jump in numbers immediately. You'll be like, oh, wow. I'm hoping that we'll be at like 70 or 80,000 in September. And then we can get to over 100,000 in October. That's kind of what I'm kind of thinking and my goal right now. I have actually more specific projections, but I don't have these numbers by me. So in my next income report, I will try to remember to be super specific on what my projections actually look like in my business, because I believe I wish I had these numbers, but I believe I want to make $350,000 a month within the time frame of, I think, by next July. So giving myself 12 months to basically 5x our income. Yay! That's like a Haley goal right there. So I figured we'll end up hitting around 200,000. Who knows? But it'll be a fun process. It'll be like a fun challenge. That's everything in business, right? It's just like a fun game. That's how you should approach it. Okay. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'm so excited we got to chat about this, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.